Howard Marks. Like the market is fairly valued, if not richly valued. You got to be careful you're in stocks. When you look at that, tech stocks are off the charts, right? I think Zoom now has a bigger market cap than Exxon Mobil. What are we doing? Like
Yeah,
when you start to look
some of
at
these
these
valuations are out of control.
out of control. So you look at that, then you look at bonds. What are bonds giving you relative to the rates around the world or whatever, and risk-free rate? You start to look at all of these different things, man. It's like there's so many dislocations between reality and the markets. So it's a defensive posture, but you still got to be invested because the government is basically telling you, if you sit in dollars, right? Like you're done, right? So all right, so that's why people are taking risk. So what type of risk do I take but still manage my downside? And oh, by the way, these people run businesses. Like I'm trying to literally build a business and scale a business in this environment. So imagine the challenges that brings. So you got to make sure you have ample cash, but I have to hire because I have to build a product. So you also have to look at I can't live in today, right? Like Jeff Bezos said, when we giving y'all results with this quarterly report, we're already 3-4 quarters in the future, right? I'm just telling y'all what we thought about 6-9 quarters before when I'm telling you now, right? And you look at Amazon numbers, I mean, good Lord, the numbers that they put out there, they are killing it. So you have to C-level folks have to be 2, 3, 4 quarters in the future. So now I'm like, all right, the second half of 2021, what are we doing? What is the world? What might the world look like? And what's interesting here, as you and I sit here on the East Coast and they're boarding up the Empire State Building and Saks Avenue and everything else, man, and all of this stuff going on and a possible legalization. I don't think it's possible. I think it's going to pass legalization of marijuana here in New Jersey, which is on the ballot. So if you're in New Jersey, please vote down ballot after you vote for the president. So when you look at all of these things and again, how regionally what goes on in the different states and all of that stuff and how New York is sucking wind, we're sucking wind here in New Jersey and all these other things, depending on where your business is incorporated and where you do business, right? Like Onramp is a very small business. I'm growing. We're not a global business, but global businesses have to look at, all right, well, look at Europe shutting back down. Now what? You know what I mean? Like, so it's just, there's a lot going on, man. But the main thing is, again, defensiveness, looking at where to put some assets to get some type of meaningful return, because you just can't sit in cash right now. You know what I mean? Like, you just can't. Like, as I literally, full disclosure, as I talk to you right now on my kitchen table, I have a bunch of money sitting here and I need to go invest it. Like, I have to put, like, literally, like, physical cash, a lot that I need to go put into, the bank to then put into the markets to invest, because having money, I used to think this shit was cool, a couple years ago. You know what I mean? Like, I got money laying around, like, you dummy. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just have money laying around like that.
That shit losing.
Yeah, it's not a flex. You know what I mean? But again, I get it. It's, if you're young and you want to show your money on the gram, I get it. But that's not a flex. Like, a flex is having your money invested and knowing that, you're getting, ridiculous returns on it. And all you did was make a smart decision based on game that somebody gave you. So it's just, again, back to mindset, man, and knowing what to do with money and giving people, the game and do that. All C-level folks now are doing is just taking that to the next level, because they have a business, they have employees to worry about, they have the reserves of that business, they have their personal finances and everything else attached to that, and their interest in other things as well. Like I own way more interest in private companies than I do in public companies. That's just the way I set things up, because I'm single. I'm not married. I have kids. So I'm taking a risk in private companies, and including my own, for wealth generation. I do own some public stuff, but again, that's purposeful, looking at how things are going. And I'm like, all right, I'm looking at the public markets. I'm like, okay, if I do get an opportunity, I'm going back up the truck, and I've been putting some money in here and there. But again, I think when you start to look at it, whether the lens that you have of what's going on here, and when you truly understand, again, I can't help but stress it again, going back to what you're saying, whether it's the books you recommend, retweeting people, posting people, and just the game that you're giving out, you're forcing people who wouldn't normally pay attention to this stuff now, like, because that's the thing, right? Whatever your gateway drug is, if your gateway was crypto, options, this, that, whatever, I don't care. But you can't do any of those and not pay attention to the markets at some point. Like, you gotta
pay attention to the world. You gotta know what the fuck is going on.
100%.
It's crazy. Like, people wonder when they come in my crib and they just see, like, the TV in my office just has Bloomberg on, even if it's on mute. It's just literally that. It just stays fixed on that. Like, it just doesn't change.
Got to. You know what I mean? And I tell people this all the time. There is only one app on your phone that's pre-installed when you get an iPhone. One. That's the stock app. And that's for a reason. Because Apple knows most of the people who get this phone are fluent in money. And they want that on their phone so they can track what matters to them so they can buy more Apple products. Apple ain't stupid. That's the one thing that's pre-installed. You ain't got to go look for a stock app. It's on there. Right? So these are little nuances that the people that are fluent in money will show you and tell you because they know how to support one another indirectly, whether it's massive products like Apple or whether it's just simple. I'll give you, again, game that Jim O'Shaughnessy gave me. Right? He saw that I was doing all this stuff. He's like, he DM'd me. He was watching me for a while. And again, Jim O'Shaughnessy has, again, not to talk that man's pocketbook, but everyone knows he's super successful. I'll leave it at that. I've had lunch with him in the core club in the city. He gave me all types of game. And he's like, man, Tyrone, you running around out here, you're doing all this stuff. I love it. But he was like, have you ever thought about the benefits of a charitable LLC? I said, huh? Let me go look this up. And I looked at a difference of a charitable LLC versus a straight nonprofit. And I said, put me on the game. Right? So, and again, I ain't gonna give it away here. I would encourage people to go look that up.
I'm already. Trust me, you already got my spider senses tingling right now,
bro. I'm telling you, man. And here's how he doubled down. He said, "You set up a charitable LLC. I got X amount of dollars for you, so you could support reading materials for Black boys and this, that, whatever." Bro, I literally, first of all, I was embarrassed because I didn't know what a charitable LLC was. Second thing was when I read about it, I said, "Are you kidding me?" No, but two things happened. One, I get why he was giving me game. And then when I read about it, I knew why he was recommending it to me. Because he's like, Tyrone, wink, wink, we both eat. It benefits me in three ways. It benefits me, benefits you, and it benefits the Black boys that you want to learn to read. Game. Like, and it was just a simple DM, bro. Like, you know what I mean? So it's stuff like that. I'm like, yo, I didn't even, and I'm around money every day. I've been doing this for years, but again, that's just a different level.
Learning. You never stop learning.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, man. And that's what it is. It's like, damn, you just, the benefits of a nonprofit, but that type of money and access, they're like, nah, do it this way. I said, whoa, okay. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man.
And I mean, granted, I already telling people Trump is automatically going to win. But if a dude is on a dream in which Biden is going to win, even if you think hypothetically he's going to win, those type of organizations are going to eat under his administration because money's still getting spent regardless. 100%. Money's getting spent regardless which administration comes through. It's just where the money's going to get directed to. But the money getting spent is going to be a lot of it. Spent.
Yes, 100%. So a lot of it.
One thing I want to comment that I want people to point out too that you kind of were talking about earlier, and it's just like I want people to notice the dichotomy of how C-level executives are raising cash but also making layoffs simultaneously, and this is something a trend that's going to be continuing in the future. So I just want people to understand that just because a company raises cash, that doesn't mean your employment prospects are increasing at all. That's just for the company to do whatever they want to do with that capital. And 90% of the time, it's not into putting it into a workforce because that's usually a net loss. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day. Mm-hmm. The second, a question I'm a hypothetical person. I got a bunch of stocks. I'm kind of a little heavily invested in tech right now. So my portfolio's a little exposed to tech. And I'm thinking about one or two things. And I want you to say, and you can say if you can't make between if one or two options is better, but option one is I'm going to take my money, put it in cash right now, and kind of wait till things play out with the election to see if the market drops a little bit and then re-enter my positions. Or two, I'm gonna take my cash out right now, and instead of leveraging the stock market, I'm gonna put it all into crypto. Which one of those two dudes you think has a better plan?
So it's funny, as you prefaced it right, because obviously nothing I say is financial advice, but you asking me and me knowing you, right? Like I can give a little bit more clarity here. And again, it's like you my man, $100,000. But again, I don't know all of the nuances of your finances, but I'm comfortable answering this question because one, I know your knowledge. Two, know your risk profile. Three, again, knowing that you're a business owner, father, right? All these other things, like it's a lot easier to answer that question. So I think, again, the truth is, and I even tell my clients this, I think you're in a position where it's just simply a personal choice at this point. What I've been telling my clients, to be honestly, what I'm doing myself is, and if you were my client, I'd be telling you, I do like that first option, right? Like I do like the fact that, because again, if you've been invested in the stock market, you've eaten and eaten well. At some point, pigs get slaughtered.
Exactly.
Right? So you take some off the table and you say, all right, I'm gonna wait. And again, with something like this, because normally, and here's the thing, nothing is normal about this year. In a normal election, there may be some movement or whatever.
We're in bizarro world. Nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense.
This is Armageddon. Like they were going to kidnap a governor of a state. Like they are boarding up the Empire State Building. Like these are, like broad daylight in Brooklyn. They getting busy like it's the Wild Wild West. Like
Facts.
this is wild.
Listen,
wild
Tyrone, you want to hear
man.
how crazy it is? I got hit by a drunk driver the other day, and everything's cool or whatever. But the dude, I chased him down the block. He got out the car. He ended up fleeing on foot. The cops came. Like, I got video footage of the dude and everything, and I was like telling the cops, like, they're doing the police report and everything, and I'm like, yo, I got footage of the dude, so if you want to think. And they were like, nah, we not looking for him. Like, we not, like, they told me straight up, like, nah, we not gonna look for him. Like, and then I was like, I was like, all right, cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? I respect it. I'm gonna still get, I'm gonna still do my, whatever I gotta do. But it was just crazy that dudes, it was just not crazy because I already knew what time NYPD was on, because NYPD's pretty much been hands off like the last couple of months. They're not really, actively pursuing crimes. They're coming late to like active shooting scenes, stuff like that. But it was just like real confirmation, like, oh, these dudes is on. It's on a whole. The cops is on a whole different type of time right now. They really, really on some hands off stuff. So it's funny that, even speaking back with the Bizarro. Wait, hold on. Before I even continue, was that it you had to say in terms of?
No. I was just saying that. So there is going to be massive disruption whenever we decide. The country decides, all right, we pick the president. Now, again, some people think it'll be swift. Whether Trump or Biden wins will be clear cut that night. I don't know. But if it drags out, whatever. But we do know whenever one side figure out they won, the other side, people are going to go nuts. So there's going to be some things here that are going to be very disruptive. So, I think that hedge is just saying, listen, I've eaten, I've done well. Me and my family haven't had to worry about it. We got a roof over our head. We good. Let me take some money out the market and wait to see what happens. Go ahead. And then, go ahead, because the other side is going to take a little bit of time to get into the crypto part of it. But
the only point I was going to make to that is that, in my opinion, and what I personally think a lot of businesses are not banking on, but just pretty much factoring in, is that this is going to be a contested election no matter who wins. No matter who wins, the other side is going to challenge the results. So even if you have, quote unquote, the results the night of, the next day, it doesn't really matter, because whatever those results are when they do come in, they're going to be contested by the other side.
Absolutely. And that's bound to happen. The other thing is, so the other part of that is, again, with the crypto conversation, again, I think that's a prudent move as well. When you see Bitcoin starting to move, I do feel like, again, if you're like, all right, well, let's just do it in percentages. You're like, all right, for the money that I do take out the market, I'm going to put 90% in cash, and I'm going to do 10% dollar cost average into Bitcoin. I wouldn't be mad at that either. You know what I mean? Because if there's anything that's going to do well, in a type of environment like this, as Bitcoin has shown,